So, welcome to our Saturday sound healing meditation. Let's begin, as we always do, by bringing our attention, our awareness, fully to this moment. Just to consciously be in the present moment, and to notice what it is to consciously be present. Now let's bring our awareness to our breathing, and we'll breathe together for 5 counts. On each count we'll breathe in and out. If you can, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. At the top of the in-breath, we'll hold for a moment, and then breathing out slowly with full awareness on the breath itself. So let's begin breathing in together to the count of 1. Holding the breath for a moment, and breathing out. Full awareness on our breathing, breathing in to the count of 2. Holding, breathing out. And relax. Breathing into the count of 3. Holding the breath and breathing out. And relax. Full awareness on our breathing, breathing into 4. Hold the breath and out. Last one, breathing in and out as slowly as you can. Breathing in. Holding for a moment. And out. And relaxing deeply. Now bringing your attention, your awareness fully within, to go behind and beyond the thinking mind to awareness itself, to sit in the seat of awareness. It is quiet, peaceful, and calm. It is perfectly still. And now resting in that stillness, abiding in stillness, experience the remainder of our meditation. Maledaya. Maledaya. Gently bringing your awareness to this moment. You are experiencing right now. You are present in the presence. And noticing that in this moment, all is well. There is no thing for you to do. Nothing for you to say. Nowhere to be other than right here in this moment. You are that, regardless of what the mind may say. You are pure energy. Residing, abiding in a physical body, having spiritual experiences. Now let's take a few moments to regroup today's meditation in silence. And now bringing your attention once again to your physical body, just noticing the body itself. Bring awareness to the chair that you're seated in, the room that you're in, the building that you're in. Any sounds, noticing any sound that may be present. And when you're comfortable and ready, coming back fully awake, aware, and fully present. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. And as always, we leave some time if anybody'd like to share anything at all about your meditation, this meditation, or any thoughts you have, feel free to unmute at this time.
Yeah, it was very peaceful. There's an echo there, by the way.
Yeah, 1 sec, maybe I can kill that. There you go.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about my recent experience in Yam, and my deep appreciation of fairies, and there's fairies all around, and people had experienced seeing them, but some guy John, he was going to send me a photograph. He told me that he sees them regularly, and they're blue in color. But just before I was meditating, there a blue light shone on me. It's kind of like when I was closed my eyes. There was a kind of a blue thing, and it just went and disappeared. And one of the things they were saying to me, I said, I really haven't actually seen for myself with my physical eyes. They were talking about seeing them, and they said that it's a dimension. You have to get to a higher dimension, and whether that dimension and that energy is higher up there, whether there are frequencies there that are different, because it's a very spiritual community, and it has a higher vibration. So I'm just thinking that our call was about spirituality, and that maybe it was no accident. I could kind of see it in my mind's eye, this blue light, rather than see, but that was the start of something. And it's more like when you're in a higher vibration, you're able to see like anything else. We're able to see our life and everything like that. And so to actually physically see the manifestation of theories takes a little bit more like than just I know that they're there, and I know that they've been all around me forever. But just getting more in touch with that relationship that I have with that physical, magical, spiritual world.
Thanks, Mary. I mean, for those of us who grew up in Ireland or Scotland, um, talk of fairies is not anything new for sure. Mary, every time I go to my brother's house, we pass by this enormous fairy fort that the local people have deep, deep reverence for. And Maria knows you don't mess with a fairy ring, right, or a fairy fort. So to me, having grown up around that, my whole life was the idea of another dimension being kind of coexisting with us was not something strange at all. We heard about it our whole lives. And I think in meditation, we're afforded an opportunity to go quiet enough to maybe be open to whatever's present. I'm really intrigued that the quantum physics people now are talking about multiple dimensions. It's always said, well, there are only three dimensions. Now that's we're way past that. That there are many, many dimensions, all kind of running parallel. Miku Kaku, that Japanese quantum physics guy, I saw him explain it recently. He said if you take a piece of paper and fold it in two, it's still a very thin little sliver, but there's now two dimensions. If you fold it again, now there's four, but it's still a tiny little sliver. If you fold it again, now there's eight, but it's still a tiny little sliver, and so on and so on. That these dimensions are so closely aligned. They're right there. But seems like it would be impossible in that dimensional way that he explained. And that's a quantum physics guy who has no deep belief in spirituality at all. But they're coming around. There's one consciousness going on. Yeah, to me, that's very reassuring. Very reassuring. Yeah, thanks for
Yeah,
sharing that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and just to add is like, I've done a lot of work and different things. One of the teams I was on was called Team Leadership Program, and they said, "What is your possibility?" This was many years ago. And I said, and it just came out my mouth. I said, "Lightness of being." So it makes. I don't see if anybody says that word makes sense, I'll kill myself, because nothing makes sense. I don't know why we use it all the time. Oh, it has to make sense. It has to make sense. I mean, you grew up in an area where nothing made sense to you. In Scotland, we had woods and everything, and castles and shit, and we did the whole thing about our imaginations where we didn't have TVs and all that stuff, but with great imaginations, and so that was installed in you. So that is something we were born with. Actually, it's a gift. And when people come up against that kind of, when you have that kind of feeling and about life, they don't always appreciate it. And I don't want to say any more about that, but maybe later on we could talk about that, Frank, because I'm
Sure.
coming up against that really big time right now with some people that just as well as having accents all over my body. Now I'm getting my psychic attacked. So whenever you have a time, I'd like to talk over with you about that. But it's really interesting, and that's all I have to say about that. Lightness of being is it takes a lot of work to get light again.
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing, Mary. And yeah, we can do that for sure. Joanne, I want to give you some time. Please go ahead, Joanne.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So Mary, are you saying that fairies are light instead of the things with the wings and the that float around? I mean, what is a fairy? I mean, we know it as being a cartoonish sort of thing that flies around, basically a female shape, maybe, but you're saying it would be more of a light.
Well, I mean, they described it as a light, a blue light.
Oh, blue
And I
light.
actually, and whenever I get that, I have to pursue. This guy said he was sending me a photograph, and when I don't know, have to get to who he was and everything. When I get a photograph, I'll share it with you, because because it definitely is part of my program is looking for that. But you know what, the thing that I look at, and no, I'm not clear on that myself. And you know, as I said, I'm one of these people that I mean, people say a lot of things, so I listen. You know, it's not like I don't listen, but I listen with half an ear because I think that the being able to listen to your own self has been drummed out of a lot of us, and to get back into that has taken a lifetime for me. And one of the things that would be is to live who I that self that you know that higher being that you'd want to be rather than whatever you've been. I'm not making it right or wrong. You understand? That was my path. But I mean, it's something that what's being said right now and all this stuff in quantum physics and this people write endless things about them. And I've met a lot of these people, highly intelligent, physicists have been saying, talking to me for years about it. But to actually bring something into reality is something is something that's it's not easy. It's
Yeah,
not
I've
easy.
had some Irish experience over the last just the other day that me and a friend went to a pub up the street to have a meal before the music show here, and that place is called McNally's Tavern. And so I was facing the wall so that they could have the experience of the beautiful back bar. We live in a very old part of the country, which is in Philadelphia. My building alone is from the 1734. And out of the back of my eye, there was someone standing right behind me to where they were catching my attention. But as I turned my head, of course, there's no one there. And it was quite distracting for, at least an hour. So then afterwards, we went down to the Commodore Barry Club. Now, I don't know who Commodore Barry is, and I should have been there a number of times, but we refer it as the Irish Center. And there
Yeah.
was music, which was nice, and I got to talk to some folks about their blood drive that they're having. So it was just nice hearing, excuse me, Maria's accent, Frank's accent, your accent, and being there. And I think I might show up a few more times and say hi. But yeah, okay. I think we should talk about it.
Oh, I love that. I love it because I think the more we do, and
I
like
agree.
it's like not everybody's on this. By the way, everybody's not on the same wavelength when it
Oh,
comes to that.
believe
And
me. That's why
as you
in the
know,
movie The
they
Sixth
make you,
Sense,
yeah. And when we have I noticed up in Yam in that's in Washington, where my friend was being a celebration of life, and she was called the forest goddess. She used to walk in the forest with her bare feet and everything, and she was a huge thing in the community and all that stuff. But it was amazing for me to experience that actual feeling of buoyancy And even when we were scattering the ashes, the wind, a storm blew up, and and we're like, wow. And then it shut down the whole electrical stuff for a day and a couple of days. We'd know, whatever the things that happens, and we're all running around candlelight and everything like that. But that was to me a testimony about who she was. The kind of, when I feel when people pass like that, the energy they leave is like so palpable, and it showed up when we were scattering the ashes, when this enormous storm came over, and nobody had ever seen anything quite like it, and they've scattered a lot of ashes through the years, but suddenly this was like a phenomenon they'd never seen before. And then this man who did tell me that he saw the fairies taught me how to listen to the trees. And when I listened to that tree, I could hear the music and everything inside the tree. I mean, and I was excited about all of that because, it was suddenly a reality. I'd forgotten, when you were a kid, I used to hug trees, and I'm sure we all did, it was one of our things we did. But suddenly it becomes a reality at this point in time, and you're so excited. It's like you're stepping into a magical circle.
Trees are people. They're people.
Yeah. Well, the branch almost hit me, by the way, when I was standing there, like bang, and I went, "Oh my God!" But I mean, so that's the kind of experience for us all to your share. I loved your share because I immediately, my whole body goes into a kind of a quiver and a shiver whenever people speak about that, and I connect right away to it. It's so exciting. So anyway, more of these conversations, the better, I think. Thank you.
You're muted, Frank.
Well, thank you. No, thanks for sharing, guys. I got another group meeting coming in, but thank you everybody for being here. Joanne, real quick, Commodore John Barry was an Irish-born officer in the Continental Army during the War of Revolution. He's credited with John Paul, I believe, as the founder of the American Navy, actually, from County Cork, Maria, in Ireland. Yeah, that's who Commodore Barry is. Yeah. Namaste, really, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Slán.
Take care.
Bye.
Oh, by the way,